Oh, this is Brandon Helwig of UCFsports.com. I'm excited today to be joined by Trent Whittemore, one of UCF's latest transfer additions. He comes to UCF by way of University of Florida. He will have 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. How are you doing, Trent?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, well, your name is a familiar one to those who've maybe followed UCF a long time or just familiar with the state of Florida. Your father, Mark, I know was a star wide receiver back in the early 1990s, and I think everyone knows about him being a legendary coach in this state and Gainesville and coaching you and your brothers. And I know we were just talking about Creed, your youngest brother, when he's going off to Mississippi State this week, and I know a lot of people are familiar with your family and everything. So what do you kind of know about it? What did you growing up? What did you know about UCF? I mean, I knew your father went there. And your mom played volleyball at Florida, so you come from an athletic family. But did you hear a little bit about Dad's playing days as you were growing up?
Yeah, no doubt. Heard about Dad's playing days from friends and family, people who had went down to games, and I made it down to a couple games myself as a young kid. Remember watching what was his name, Joe Burnett or Smoking Joe Burnett. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
that name, but that takes me back, coming down to games, watching him and some other guys back in the day play ball. So I'm very pumped to be here. It is really cool to be playing at my dad's alma mater. Like you mentioned, it was cool to be able to play for him in high school along with my brothers. Couldn't be more blessed in that aspect. And like I said, I'm just hyped to be down here and be a part of Night Nation.
So, what was your high school recruitment like? I mean, I know you've got a lot of ties to Florida, just like you do with UCF, and grew up in Gainesville. So I know there was a big pull for you to always want to go there. But were you recruited at all by UCF? You were what, class of 2019? Is that right?
Yes,
Or 2018?
I was 19.
19. Okay.
High school recruitment. Wow, it's been a while now. I'm thinking back on it. Yeah, I think I was recruited by UCF a bit. I did commit to Florida early on, though. Interestingly enough, I was interested a bit in Auburn, where Coach Malzahn was at the time, but ended up I committed to Coach McElwain at Florida, and then kept that commitment through Coach Mullen, who was great to me in my time at UF. So can't say anything bad about my process at UF and my time there. Earned my degree, great friends, great football. Just decided it was time to move on, and that led me here.
Yeah. So how would you kind of look back at your Florida career? I know you made more of an impact. I think the previous 2 seasons. I know you've battled injuries through your career. Have you kind of felt like maybe you haven't reached your maximum potential in a given season, or has that been frustrating, or how would you kind of, I guess, look back on these last several years playing football for you?
Yeah, it's always a blessing to get to play college ball. I think that's the number one way you have to look at it. I did have some injuries at times, but I was able to play a whole bunch of ball at Florida, and really enjoyed it. Maybe didn't contribute as I wanted to at times, but in other points got to play a ton of ball. And looking back on it, I'm just thankful for the opportunity, the friends, the ball I did get to play, all the relationships. That's probably what I'll remember the most. Like I said, just felt like it was time to go. I'm a graduate student and was ready for something new. And like I said, that ended up leading me here. So just very thankful and blessed for the opportunity and time I spent at UF.
So last year you ended the season in the Gasparilla Bowl playing UCF. What was that experience like? I mean, for you, I mean, you had the connection with your dad, being a former player, and that was kind of that was an interesting game. What do you kind of recall about that experience?
Yeah, obviously not my best memory as a player. I lost that one, but yeah, my dad, I'm sure, was getting a ton of texts. He had a lot of buddies at the game. I think he was wearing a Florida shirt at that one, but he's happy to be back in his UCF gear now. I think he's already sporting some since I've made my commitment. But yeah, that was a good game. Shoot, we were well, yeah, it was a good game, and yeah, just fun to look back on, knowing that I'm here now. Kind of funny how that worked out.
Yeah, did you ever think, I mean, with transfer portal being such a big thing, I mean, I'm sure you maybe figured maybe in your career at Florida. But did you ever think in the back of your mind, maybe then or something, that, if things didn't work out, maybe UCF would eventually be a spot for me? Or did it just kind of just happen now as you enter the portal, and it kind of dawned on you when you realized you wanted to, utilize another opportunity?
I would say I wasn't like always thinking about leaving UF, so in that aspect, it wasn't an option for me. But I've never had anything against UCF, and just a huge shout out to Coach Malzahn, who I've had a relationship with since high school. He's recruited my brother, my cousin. He's just always been great to my family, and like I said, I've known him since high school. So once I was in the portal, UCF was a huge option for me, and then the addition of Coach Hinshaw as well, who I had a relationship with, was another thing that drew me a bit. But like I said, Coach Malzahn's always been great to myself and my family, and I'm just pumped to be able to play for him. He really is one of the best coaches in the game, and I'm fired up to be able to help him win some games.
Yeah, let's talk kind of about this process and getting connected with UCF. I know I think you announced your intentions back in November because you were going to be a graduate transfer at UCF. Did that dialogue start pretty early? Did it heat up more recently when Darren Hinshaw got here? Like, what was that process like of you kind of getting connected to the point where you're committing to UCF?
Yeah, it started early on with some phone calls with Coach Malzahn, and it was kind of a long process for me. The dead period there is all the teams play bowls, and then it's kind of a rush at the end to visit places and see where you want to go, which can be a bit stressful. But I was blessed with some opportunities, one of those being UCF. Coach Malzahn had been on the phone with me, several times throughout the process, and he did say he wanted me to see who the OC was going to be before I made my visit, and obviously ended up being somebody that I really like, I'm really excited about, and that did excite me and bring me along even more in the process.
So let's talk more about that. So I know you announced your decision, I think this past Saturday, and just a few days prior, Darren Hinshaw, who was your father's quarterback. I believe that your father may have led in receiving, and one of those seasons, was it maybe 93, 94, when Darren Hinshaw was UCF's quarterback. So obviously that was probably a big positive for you. So what were these past few days like, meeting Darren? Did he call you? Did you connect with him? Maybe did you visit, or what was kind of this late process like to the point of committing?
Yeah, I was actually on the road taking some visits and whatnot, and got a phone call from Coach Hinshaw, who, like you said, I've known for quite some time, being recruited out of high school. He was at Kentucky at the time, I believe, and then also just my dad talking about him. Like you said, they played together here at UCF back in the day. So we got a phone call from Coach Hinshaw, and decided to move a visit date set to UCF up a little bit, and came down here, really enjoyed it. Went back home, prayed on it, really spent some time with my family, and decided that that's what, the Lord had for me in this next phase of my life, and pulled the trigger, and couldn't be happier with the decision, honestly. I'm blessed, and I'm really glad to be down here, and I'm happy with how everything, ended up going.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, everyone's kind of, anxious and curious and excited just to see, what the changes are going to be offensively, with Coach Hinshaw. What did he kind of talk about with you in his press conference the other day? He talked about, obviously, he's not afraid of taking shots downfield. They're going to go vertical maybe than what we've seen at UCF the past couple of years. Did he kind of share his vision of the offense with you, and what kind of role you could possibly have in that offense?
Yeah, I think I'm a guy who can be versatile within his passing game. If you go back and watch where he's been previously, they were able to throw it downfield vertically really impressively, and he showed me some of that film, and obviously that was fun to watch. And I just really think his ability to open it up, maybe as Coach Malzahn would say, combined with what this team already does well, and what Coach Malzahn has already has a team doing. Coach Malzahn has called an offense to a national championship, and he's won a national championship as an OC. I mean, he's done tremendous things, and to add Coach Hinshaw to that, and his vertical passing threat and attack, I think it'll be something special, and I'm just excited to be a part.
So when were you at UCF? Did you visit last week?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so what was that like? I guess it's kind of like, high school recruiting all over again in some respects with the visits. What did you see? Did you meet any? I don't know if the players would have been back yet, but what was the visit like?
Uh, yeah, it is a little weird just because the players aren't around. They're all home, obviously, enjoying some time off. But I was able to get together with Coach Hurd, Coach Hinshaw, Coach Malzahn, really go over a lot of film, which is important as a grad transfer. You're not as much looking at the the other things. You're interested in and what's going on in the ball. So I was really grateful for them to kind of put together some good film and just be able to talk ball. And Coach Hurd recruited my younger brother. He's another person who's been great to my family, and I had never met him personally, but I was excited to be able to get together with him, spend a lot of time with him, and like I said, it was an impressive day. I was just moved by their whole presentation, how they were towards my family, and decided to pull the trigger the next day.
So where do you think you kind of fit in? Are there some strengths you have as a receiver? Some traits that you're known for that think will really fit in nicely with what UCF wants to do with the offense?
I played the past couple years inside, but I'm really open to anything. I'm not going to be say where I'll necessarily be on the field. I think I can do a variety of things, and that's what Coach Malzahn and Coach Hurd and Coach Hinshaw have all said. And I just really want to just be a leader on the team, be someone who can be trusted and contribute in any way that presents itself, if I'm being honest. So I don't know specifically what that role will be, but whatever it is, I'm excited to fulfill it.
Have you ever watched much footage of your father? I mean, I know it's going back a little ways. Maybe there's VHS tapes. Maybe there's a little bit on YouTube. I don't know. But have you ever seen footage of your father playing receiver? And are there some similarities between yourself and your dad?
Yeah, I have seen him. Have seen his highlights from UCF. Haven't watched him in a while, but when I was younger, we used to watch him a good bit. He was definitely a force to be reckoned with on the field. He's a bit of a smaller guy, speedster. He really looks like my younger brother Creed, honestly. I'm a bit bigger than he was, but I think I can definitely draw some ball skills that I have from him. He had great hands, and obviously scored a lot of touchdowns for the Knights. Had a lot of production, so I'm hoping to be able to match that. I don't know, it'll be a tall task, but hoping to be able to add some production to the Whittemore name for the UCF Knights.
That's awesome. Well, this is, as you know, this is going to be UCF's inaugural season playing in the Big 12. It's a big step up for the school. As you've kind of been following UCF a little bit through the years. They've kind of, when your dad played, they were 1AA and they were going to 1A, and they've kind of been moving up this ladder over these last 30, 40 years. So you're going to be, witness to a really big season in UCF history. Is that exciting? I mean, obviously you knew it, but how cool is that going to be as you're going to be part of that team leading UCF into the Big 12?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. That was something that Coach Malzahn talked about with me, and just being a part of that first team to take a step up into the Big 12, a step up in competition, most would say, and I think this team will be ready for it. There's a lot of other really good players that are ready to prove themselves on that level. I can't wait to get into a new conference. It's always cool playing in a couple new stadiums. I'm sure we'll go to some big time places, and I just know the guys are ready. Just talking to some of them, UCF's a program that this is probably overdue, honestly, with how the program's produced over the past decade, and I'm just really thrilled to be on the team that finally gets the chance to go prove it on a bigger stage.
Do you know many of the current UCF players? I mean, I'm sure you're in the process of getting to know everyone now, but did you know anyone previously? Have you kind of connected with anyone in this past few days, or where are you with that?
I knew a couple of guys, Quan Lee, who we went to the same high school. Shout out to Buchholz. I knew him well. Bowman as well. We were teammates at UF. Deontay Marks, we were teammates at UF for a little bit. That's all off the top of my head right now. But I've already met a ton of guys. They all seem great. Can't wait to get to work with all of them. They were all very welcoming to me, made me feel at home, which I appreciate a lot as a guy who just moved in. So I'm ready to get to work with them and can't wait to see what we can do.
Yeah, have you met John Rice Plumlee, the quarterback? Has he reached out?
Yeah, I have met John Rice and spent some time with him, and he's great. And I can't really wait to be on the field with him. I've been a fan from afar for a couple years. Came out of the high school, or yeah, I think we were the same class. And
Yeah.
he played at Ole Miss, and then I've played against him in the SEC. We went to Ole Miss in the COVID season, so this is the first time I've gotten to meet him personally, though, and he's great. And he's got a will to win, and he's great to be around, and I'm excited as he gets an opportunity to lead us into the Big 12 and call the shots a little bit. I'm excited to be a part of that. I can't wait to see what he can do.
So did you graduate from Florida in December?
Actually, I graduated in August.
Okay, so yeah, so it's been a little while. So you're gonna have your bachelor's from Florida. Do you have plans, or are you deciding right now what you want to pursue in terms of a graduate degree at UCF?
Yeah, I'll probably be interdisciplinary studies and combine a couple different topics into what I want to do. Still figuring it out, but the academic staff's been great, and gonna try to transfer over some credit from UF and be able to finish up a master's degree, which means a lot to me, and it's just a blessing to be able to keep playing football while getting a free education. That's a pretty good deal. So I'm excited to continue that.
Yeah, I know you've talked about Coach Malzahn multiple times as we've been talking. So what was it like maybe when you made the commitment? What was that like? Did you do it in person? Was it on the phone? And what was the reaction when you told him that you wanted to be a Knight?
Coach Malzahn was actually on the road at a family member's wedding, but I gave him a call, and it was cool to finally seal the deal. It's been a long month for myself, just praying through a lot of things, and college football world is a carousel for sure. So lots of things changing around, but just so happy to finally find a home, and like I already said, I couldn't be more happy with the decision. Just can't wait to see what the Lord has in store for me here, and it was really cool to be able to make that commitment to Coach Malzahn, and it was just kind of a surreal moment, I guess, if you would. Just having a relationship with him for a long time, I think it's cool to finally be a part of what he's doing.
And last thing, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to accomplish? Obviously, you've got you're going to play this year at UCF. You've got another season if you want it the following year. But obviously, it's a big year for you. I'm sure you want to have a bigger role than maybe what you did this past year. But what do you want to try to accomplish here next season at UCF?
I think it all starts with being that first team in the Big 12. Coach Malzahn, he's already said he wants to go compete for a championship, and whatever I can do to help the team do that. I'm not much of a huge goal setter for myself statistically as I am just reflecting on what I do each day, and did I give it my all? Am I helping the team in every way possible? And if I can look back on the season and say that was the case, then I can be happy with it and be at peace with it. So that's the goal for me, is just to go out there and help in any way that I can, in any way that Coach Malzahn and Coach Hurd and Coach Hinshaw draw up for me, and I'll be willing to do anything that they ask, and I can't wait to be a part.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for your time, Trent. Best of luck to you at UCF.
Appreciate it.